As the Nazis marched, they were met by armed police and Bavarian soldiers who immediately shot at them. Hitler, stunned by the commotion, fell to the ground and dislocated his shoulder. He was able to escape, but was caught 2 days later and imprisoned. Following his failed attempt to seize power in the beer hall putsch, Hitler was arrested and sentenced to 5 years in prison. His time behind bars was far from uncomfortable. Hitler was granted a private cell furnished with a cozy bed, a table, and a chair, which allowed him to focus on writing his book, Mein Kampf. In his book, Hitler elaborated on his political ideologies and ambitions for the future of Germany. Mein Kampf sold over 5.2 million copies in 11 languages by 1939. Though the Nazi Party had been outlawed, Hitler managed to hold secret meetings with his supporters, leveraging these gatherings to further organize and bolster the party's strength. While Weimar Germany thrived on American money and loans, Hitler was able to use his spare time in prison to further his political agenda and strengthen the Nazi Party. So all that Hitler had to do was wait for the perfect moment to October 28, 1929, a day now known as Black Monday, the US's economy suffered a devastating collapse after years of speculation. The repercussions were felt globally, and Weimar Germany, heavily reliant on US loans, was hit hard as the flow of funds abruptly ended. The impact was immediate, causing rampant unemployment, widespread poverty, and homelessness. As the situation worsened, the Weimar government faced the task of finding a solution to alleviate the crisis. However, the response was inadequate, as they chose to raise taxes and cut wages, which only served to worsen the suffering of the people. This misguided strategy proved to be a fatal mistake, providing Adolf Hitler with the perfect opportunity to seize power and set in motion the eventual downfall of German democracy. Between 1925 and 1928, the Nazi Party experienced a significant surge in membership, growing from 27,000 to an impressive 100,000. Despite this, the party only secured a mere 12 seats in the 1928 election. The Weimar government was plagued with political turmoil and instability from 1928 to 1933, resulting in 4 national elections being held during this period. Hitler saw an opportunity to increase his party's appeal, ultimately leading the Nazi Party's integration into mainstream German politics. Here are the key strategies that helped Hitler achieve this. The Nazi Party's imagery was uniquely striking and memorable. With recognizable symbols like the swastika, the Nazi Party created a powerful brand that propelled their propaganda campaigns to great success, unifying the German people behind their cause. One such campaign was the Work and Bread campaign, which resonated with over 6 million unemployed Germans in 1932, promising them decent jobs to support their families. Week after week, the Nazi Party continued to spread its message throughout newspapers and electrifying speeches, delivered by the clear face of the party, Adolf Hitler. His radical promises, including the abolishment of the Treaty of Versailles and the unification of all German-speaking people, inspired unprecedented levels of support for the party. Hitler recognized the significance of political instability on his path to power, and thus established paramilitary organizations such as the infamous Brown Shirts or Stormtroopers, also known as the SA. This group employed tactics of intimidation and violence to disrupt political opponents' rallies, helping to boost the Nazi Party's support. Hitler also increased interest in the Nazi Party by clearly identifying the Jewish people as the convenient scapegoat for all of Germany's problems. By using them as a target for blame, he effectively created a unifying force among Germans. Additionally, Hitler further exploited the situation by including communists and foreign powers as scapegoats. Back in Berlin, as the 1932 elections approached, the Weimar government appeared increasingly disorganized and incapable of resolving Germany's critical state. President Hindenburg had returned to power, relying heavily on the unpopular Article 48, which granted emergency powers to the president. The Nazi Party, which had a lot of momentum, emerged as the clear favorite in the July 1932 elections, winning 230 seats and becoming the largest political party. However, they lacked a majority in the Reichstag, and Hitler, who requested to be chancellor, was denied by Hindenburg, who did not trust him. Instead, Hindenburg chose von Papen from the Center Party as chancellor. But since he was not the leader of the largest party, Von Papen struggled to govern effectively, unable to pass laws without a majority. This led to a second election in November 1932. The Nazi Party, now down to 196 seats, was still the leading party. Von Papen still failed to gain a majority, and Hindenburg turned to von Schleicher as the next chancellor, convinced that the country was in the brink of civil war. He too could not secure a majority in the Reichstag, leaving Hindenburg with no choice but to rule using Article 48. Determined to regain power, von Papen met with Hitler in early January 1933, where they struck a deal where von Papen will help Hitler become chancellor if Hitler made von Papen vice-chancellor, believing he could control him. With no other options left, Hindenburg reluctantly made Hitler chancellor on January 30, 1933.